I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies.
Welcome to Cookies, the playoff basketball podcast.
Playoff edition.
I'm Ben Detrick. With me, as usual, don't jump the gun, Jordan Redaelli.
Well, hello, Ben. And, hello, Master Kuo.
Hey, Andrew Kuo, also here.
I like that you call me master because I'm trying to do this like grandfather Tai Chi style thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know how like his dad style. I'm grandfather style. You know, like just straight up work pants, sweatshirts, and regular comfortable shoes, like Tai Chi in the park kind of vibe.
What's the tie between masters at the Tai Chi part?
Yeah, this made me think of it.
Master Kuo.
Like a dojo.
Yeah, I'm not the master at anything. I just want to look like I do Tai Chi in the park at 7 a.m.
Master of your domain.
That's right.
What is the longest your hair has ever been?
When Nirvana was a thing, at one point it was down to my chin, shaved underneath, obviously.
Yes.
But then that only lasted like a few months, and then I went shaved head throughout high school and college.
And have you ever, or would you ever, consider growing a Fu Manchu?
I can't. I just cannot.
Yeah, what's your peak beard situation? Like, what's the ceiling? Like the sort of the Luol Deng of your beard?
Super gross. Patchy, not like even at all. Very sparse, but like maybe like I get a lot of action, like mustache action. That's where the only action is, and a little like tufts on my chin.
I really want to. How much do we have to pay to grow a mustache? Like a playoff stash.
You do not want a short friend with a mustache. That's like a terrible look. Or do you?
I do. How about you, Ben?
I'd be fine with a short mustachioed amigo.
I don't know. There's certain things that like I'm finally fine with being short. Took many years, but a mustache just like, kind of drags you back down again.
Yeah. I can't really grow beards anymore. I mean, I can grow them, but I can't conceive of it because I just look like. If I have a beard, I just look like the Bee Gees if they hadn't
never
died
seen
in
you
their
with a beard.
30s.
I've seen photos of him with a beard, and it's not a theoretical beard. Like he can grow a beard.
Full beard?
Yeah, man.
In New York City, it's happened?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's happened. Fuck it, I'll do it again.
All right.
Playoff beard.
Playoff beard.
I'll do a few days of not shaving my stash, but it gets gross and I hate it.
One problem with a bartender growing a beard, first, it's never happened. But
Especially in Williamsburg.
at this point, don't you have to wear a beard guard? I know that, or is that just for kitchens?
Fuck yeah. I've seen those things. They're so stupid. Like, just shave or get another job. Like, that's just outrageous. A beard net.
Have I seen a mixologist do that, or am I just imagining
I've
it?
seen them in kitchens. Like if you looked
Yeah.
at Roberta's, you'd see guys having to wear the beard net.
Yeah.
But I've never seen that kind of beard technology employed on a
hair.
bartender.
Neither have I. Yeah, I've seen it on TV with like food inspections and like manufacturing. Even like
Would you, if you walked into a bar and a dude had the fucking net on, would you sit down or would you just walk straight out again?
I'd sit down. It's fine.
Would you talk to him about it? Would you make him feel self-conscious about it?
I don't think you can order a drink without saying, "Oh, nice net. Nothing but net, eh?" Like let me get a mezcal net grony.
How do you guys feel about Asian people in New York who wear the face masks?
I don't really understand it. What's the point of it?
Just like health. So like there was an article in I think I'm just gonna say the New York Times, but I forget about air quality and CitiBikes. Because people who ride their CitiBikes across the Williamsburg Bridge from Brooklyn to Manhattan during certain hours are subject to a lot of pollution because of idling cars during traffic. And it's super bad for you. Times like 200 times a year, give or take. They're like, all of those particles just stay in your lungs forever. And it's not terrible, but they were trying to figure out if it was safer to walk or to ride a bike. because the rate of breathing is so much faster when you ride a bike.
But you're also on the bridge for much longer if you're walking.
But
Oh, look at this conundrum.
But the rate of breathing is the thing. Like if you're breathing at a normal walking rate, it's less. It's like less stress on your lungs. And
But then the worst of all would be running it.
yeah, this wasn't
You're much faster, but also on a city bike.
But commuters don't run that.
Right, but once you're going back down, you're not
happens
using any
again.
breath.
But your heart rate has increased already. Like that's not the crux of the article.
All these doctors
This
in
is
this
like
room.
This is a math problem.
It's not. Look, as somebody who rides city bike, I rode my city
Recently?
bike here to the lab, Z Lab. It's like walking. Then you can't go very fast on a city bike. Like
There's an incline on the Williamsburg Bridge, right?
There's enough of an incline on
I've
the
seen people
Williamsburg
huffing,
Bridge that
puffing.
when you're going up it, it's long, but it absolutely does require effort.
I mean, the
especially with a
article-
city bike, which is a heavier vehicle.
Yeah, but they're geared bikes. You just turn it down and you just pedal faster. Like I can't pedal fast enough on those things. Like I mean, I can. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I can't go any faster than my peak speed, so I like it. You just coast. I ride in the middle of the street, Andrew, so you don't have to worry about me getting hit by a car door or anything. City bikes are rad.
No, I like them, and they have a terminal velocity. Like you can't really haul ass. Wait, what do you call it? You can't fang it out.
You can't fang it on a city bike. You know what else was crazy about city bike today? You ever like feel really stupid?
All the time.
Constantly, yeah. Go on.
Yeah. I had one of those moments today. I rode past a Citibank, and I was like, oh, they spell it the same as City Bike.
No, totally right. Like,
That's where I guess you can go in there and rent a bike.
oh, McCafe, my favorite coffee shop. Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty stupid. And I was like, it even looks the same. Both blue.
Have you had any trouble when you've pedaled by City Field?
Oh shit! Another brain revelation. Thank you. Someone gave me a cool brain revelation the other day. I have this old Apple hat, like of the computers from the first Apple Mac era, I guess.
Macintosh.
And somebody told me the origins of the Mac logo, which I did not know. The super colorful rainbow apple with a bite taken out of it is a tribute to Alan Turing, who invented the first computer,
Turing machine.
and who was imprisoned for being gay, and
It's a super sad
committed
story.
suicide in prison by eating an apple that he had injected with cyanide.
Wait a second. I heard a different story about this. Do I have history wrong?
I'm probably, the aforementioned feel stupid part. I can feel it coming on again.
Because
But-
Eddie Redmayne played him in that movie.
Yeah.
I may have this wrong too. This might not be a brain revelation, but I believe the government made him take drugs because of his sexual preference, like to chemically castrate him, and it like maybe altered his brain, and he may have committed suicide, but I think he died from the effects of that medication.
I'm almost positive he committed suicide by cyanide.
But you're saying the rainbow apple is a
The
direct
rainbow
reference
apple
I mean, it
to
would make
that.
sense
with
with
the
the apple
bite
thing.
out of it is a direct reference to that, which is, like you said, super tragic, very sad, but also maybe the coolest logo origin ever.
It's also something that would be easily checked. And did anyone here?
I didn't know we
I
were
don't
gonna.
I don't like knowing if I'm right.
You're the one sitting in front of a computer.
I'm not going to look it up.
typing
I'm totally content with this origin
All right,
mythology that
right.
Jordan has unspooled.
It's good. Let's just leave it at that.
So I love the Apple logo. I think it's amazing. The funny thing I think about constantly is as the interns churn out items for cookies weekly, is the production value with the colors is like pretty epic. You can't make like an Apple shirt like without like an 8 color print. You know, like you can't make like a 2.
So
you
it's
can.
aggressive to knock it off.
It's aggressive to knock it off, but also like back in the day, you're like, oh, this is going to be kind of expensive logo to execute.
Is that why they just changed it to gray? Like Apple couldn't even be bothered paying for their own shit anymore?
The gray looks nice too.
Yeah, I feel like Apple's only colors at this point are like space gray and like Arctic white or
Bondi
something.
blue.
Yeah, they only seem to have two colors, right?
Well, yeah, after the amazing iMac run, where there was like a rainbow color. Remember they tried to sell us like multicolored iPods?
Yeah, the phones they never did that.
They tried a little.
The iMac was a pretty bizarre product.
I loved it so much. It was so great. It was like a huge step, right? Like, did you have one?
My parents had one.
They're yeah.
And they had a handle on the top, which was kind of amazing.
So amazing, right?
The iMac, you could
Oh, the blueberry ones?
I mean, it was like
Bondi blue.
It was like a real size computer with a handle that you could sort of like lug it like a bowling ball case.
Because it was a signifier, but it was not useful.
No, it wasn't useful at all. I mean, I remember actually, maybe I had it for a year in college when my parents got rid of it or something, and I just remember carrying it with that and feeling like it might just break and fall and be destroyed.
But it's great because it turns it into a different. I'm getting annoying now, but it turns it into a different product, right? It turns it into something not to be intimidated of. And I can imagine a designer just being like, "I'll put the handle in; it'll scare people less." Like computers scare people. How do we make these less scary? It's like, oh, you can carry it around. It's kind of disposable.
I was always of the impression that those particular computers were Apple's foray into the educational market, and they were trying to beat
Totally.
IBM. So the handle was there so they could be moved around classrooms easily.
But when you picked it up, you had to pick it up like a pumpkin.
Yes. It was definitely not something you just sort of sling over your shoulder like a laundry bag or a trench coat.
You do laundry?
Drop it off.
Yeah.
What's up with the Samsung that they're pushing back? Have you guys seen this news? You know, the Samsung that folds out?
Oh.
Like a
Like
book?
a flip phone?
No, it's like your phone, but it opens up like a book. So the screen says-
Motorola.
I thought it was Samsung.
No, I'm saying
Crazy.
it's like a shell phone.
Wait, you guys don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
Holy shit, this thing is amazing. It's gonna retail at like $1,900, so it's really controversial. But it's supposed to be released very soon, but they pushed it back.
There
was a glitch in the.
what's the selling point here?
It's beautiful. So imagine your phone, and you can use
I
it.
don't even need to imagine it. I can see it right here.
Okay, so imagine it opening up like a book.
Yes.
Like a page.
Like the way that old people put them in like weird leather cases that have a front on them.
So you have you can watch a movie. It's just like or you can like navigate websites like with double the screen size.
So what you're telling me is it looks like an old Nintendo handheld Donkey Kong kind of vibe.
But it's continuous. Like the screen is like there's no like seam
There's no
in the
hinge?
middle.
Wow.
It's beautiful. It debuted. Everyone's like, that's sick.
Do you know
But
what
does
I
it
would
work?
do
And
with
it doesn't
that?
work.
I would watch basketball with
Oh,
that.
we could watch like we were chilling the other night and we were just checking scores on our phone. If we had that, I would just open it up and like prop it up.
We had the game going on 3 different iPhones, but the problem was that this was at the bar. The problem was that they were all slightly askew.
Yeah.
So if you always would gravitate towards the one that was ahead.
Yeah.
So you'd kind of see one in front of you, and you'd see the basket go in out of the corner of your eyes, and you'd end up sort of craning.
I
towards
watch
the
on my
other one.
iPad and my TV, and there's a good like 15-second difference. It's super annoying.
That is annoying.
Hey, you know what was also annoying? The other day, the TNT app wouldn't stream the game, but Reddit NBA streams could.
You love Reddit. Can you talk about this? You love NBA Reddit.
I like the streams mostly. Like it's 2 clicks and you're watching a game for
People
free.
pirate them and post
Pretty
them.
much, and it's live. It's It's as it's
Is
happening.
it like linked to Periscope or?
I don't know what that is, but so I'm going to say no.
When I've tried to use them, I feel like there's always a bunch of pop-up ads or things like that.
I mean, if you can't like close one window, if that's too hard for you, I can't help.
I'm saying
I can't help.
they're not.
Ben, if you can't close one window in order to watch it,
is it
at
one
2.5,
window? I'm asking you, it's one window.
It's one window.
Reddit is not a beautiful feed. It's
I mean,
not
I
like
have
a
a subscription.
pleasurable
I
thing.
don't rely on teens uploading the game, and I'm not at their mercy.
Fine.
You sound like a Reddit cop.
JJ Redick.
But I watch on television, and then I have a computer that is playing a different game on the Reddit streams.
Yeah, I
dig?
mean that makes sense.
I understand that.
Okay.
I used to do Russian
Grandpa.
websites for streaming games, which worked awesome. But then, like, I found myself. There's always a game on TV. Of course, if there's like one game that's only on a Russian site, I'll go there. But if there's a game on TNT and other stuff is happening, like the Twitter feed's enough. Like people will post like little GIFs and like talk, and I find that to be just as fun.
What was Twitter saying last night?
A whole bunch.
Shall we get into it?
No, we got a lot of.
God damn it!
What are you doing? Just jumping the gun here. Come on.
I mean, I want to talk about.
Settle in, Redaelli.
Fine.
I want to talk more about Apple fashion.
Really? I thought we were going to talk about CitiBike for a good 20 more minutes.
Yeah, that I thought that was going to happen too.
You know, Jordan's been jumping segues all show.
I know.
Came in here full of vigor, and he's jumping segues.
Yeah.
What do you? If left to your own devices, we'd be walking out here in 15 minutes. Is that what you're trying to do?
Dude, do you know how nice it is outside?
It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day to be sitting in an office podcasting.
Okay, so that's what
Let's
this is about.
No, it's not about that. Let's get it, fellas.
All right, so before we get to basketball, can we go basketball adjacent for Jordan? I meant the interns put up a poll on the Cookies Twitter account asking which of the 4 leading male Democratic primary.
In light of the debates, the town halls last night on CNN.
Exactly. So it's tied to that.
It was in the air.
So there's the 4 guys who are leading the field amongst Democrats are Beto, Booker, Buttigieg, and your man
Yang Gang.
Yang Gang Dance. So those are the 4 guys. So I proposed that the interns propose who would win in a tournament of one-on-one basketball using 2s and 3s, ethical basketball.
To 21.
I think I said 11 to the interns, maybe 21 to the interns. Do you want to hear the tell of the tape, or do you have some takes on this immediately?
Well, to frame it even more, Bernie Sanders famously is there's a video of him draining these like 9-10 feet bank shots over and over. People commented on his flawed but consistent form. Elbows in the right place.
Now, the interns were ageist here. Biden and Bernie were eliminated because
Oh, what?
no 70-year-old is beating anybody at basketball unless they're playing each other. Sorry, you're 72 years old, you're not winning at basketball.
Oh, but they can run our country.
Yeah, that's the sad thing, right? Imagine that, putting a president, someone to run the leader of the free world who can't win a one-on-one basketball game.
Doesn't
Bullshit.
Buttigieg look exactly like Brad Stevens?
And he's from Indiana.
Oh, he probably has game.
Well, so that's here. Let me give you a little rundown here. Sorry, there's rumblings in the background. So
The interns are trying to get out of their cage.
just rattling the bars.
We got takes.
So Booker is, I don't even know their exact ages. I'm going to say he's like
Probably in his 40s.
close to 50, late 40s.
Yeah, you're right.
He's a former college athlete, played football at D1. But I saw him on DeSuze and Mero's show. The guy can't play basketball.
They were balling on the show.
I love DeSuze. I love Mero. None of them can play a lick. Love those dudes. They can't play. There was just a clip of them successively, the trio, missing like 20 jump shots in a row. So anyway, Booker.
I thought Mero could. I thought he would be the one.
He looked like the best of them.
Right.
But yeah, the takeaway was that Booker can't hoop a lick, but he was a good athlete. He's also thick. He's also Elton Brandy.
This is getting into the weeds. So, what position on the football field did he play? Do you know? Was he like a lineman?
He was a running back.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, elite
Fair
athlete.
enough.
He played like for USC or UCLA or something, or
Damn.
Stanford, whatever. He's an elite athlete, but he can't hoop.
Fair.
Beto, skinny, 6'4".
Has definitely played like high school at least, right?
I don't know, but there's no imagery of him anywhere with a basketball. And if you're an Obama impersonator, you'd make it clear if you could hoop.
For sure.
Now,
Make it a thing.
the question for you, Jordan,
Oh, for me.
since he's claimed to be something of a skater, or is what's the intersection between skating and basketball?
I mean, there isn't really one, except that they both became worldwide phenomenons in the same era.
Right. I'm saying in your experience. can skaters hoop?
It's a socioeconomic thing, right? Like they're kind of parallel that way. They're not like football or baseball. People can skate and hoop.
Have you ever met anyone who can do both?
Other than Larry Sanders? No,
Other
he can't
than
skate.
that.
There's no way he can skate.
Right, that's what I mean. I don't know that anyone can do both.
Yeah. I have no proof of that.
I don't know either. That's a very interesting question that no one has an interesting answer to.
Well, if you're good at skateboarding, well, let's say if you're good at basketball, good enough to maybe play and sign a contract in Europe or something, you probably won't be skating, right? Because that's such a dangerous activity.
Well, I can, from my experience, I used to play basketball with Alex Olsen, professional skateboarder. Not good at basketball, but only because he's so athletic and so fearless. He would throw himself at the ball. Like it was, you know what I mean? He approached it in the same way that he would, approach like jumping down a fucking
sounds like a
15
terrible
stairs or
basketball
something.
player.
Terrible. He had no patience.
There's definitely some guys who can
Rad dude.
who
What's
can
up, Alex?
skate and hoop who played in that Friday run, but it's not a natural intersection point. I think because you generally start doing both in middle school or high school. And to your point, if you're good enough at basketball to make a team, you're probably not falling off and like catching yourself on your wrists or breaking your ankles.
Right. If you're the starting guard on your high school team, you're not skating on the weekends.
No. And skaters are more anti-authoritarian. They're more independent. They're not going to really want a coach to tell them to run suicides.
I quit skateboarding. I retired from skateboarding at the age of 12, right when my basketball career was taking off.
Evidence.
There you go.
So I'm going to say Beto can't hoop.
I'm saying, okay, you're right.
That's my takeaway.
And
no evidence of
Obama can't skate.
Exactly. No evidence of Beto ever having a basketball around him, despite being 6'4". That guy can't play ball.
Yeah, but where's this evidence that Beto was a skater? I bet he just like walked around holding it by the trucks.
True. He's
Mall
probably
grab?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a poser there too. But all right, next candidate up here, Buttigieg. I think he's about 5'9", 5'10", from Indiana. Brad Stevens has endorsed him strongly.
Wait, Buttigieg is kind of one of those Shams Sarnia kind of guys. I can't tell if he's like 6'1" or 5'2". Like, is he that tall?
I think he's short, not Kuo short, but I think he's like 5'9".
You don't want to see me with a mustache. You do not want to see me with a mustache.
would you-
Don't make me grow this mustache.
Well, there's the evidence. Would you want to see Buttigieg with a mustache?
No.
Okay, then he's short.
Okay. I think he
Beto
might
with
be
a
able to ball.
mustache. Beto with a mustache
That's
would be
fine.
totally
It's
acceptable.
fine. It's fine.
Booker with a mustache. I think he has one.
Yeah.
So
Not
what?
Buttigieg.
So who's winning this one-on-one? Just Booker by default?
Wait, there's another competitor.
Ted Cruz.
That's what I'm saying. If Ted Cruz was out there just balling up a storm terribly, and Beto never just showed that he had a J, I think Beto is a fraud. I'm Yang Gang.
Yang Gang, although a photo of him surfaced this week in high school where he shouts out The Cure and the Smiths. So I don't know if he's hitting that, slapping glass, hitting that hardwood,
I found
pounding the rock.
I got a photo of him cruising in for a layup. He's going from the left to the right hand, acceptable, but a little sus. Yeah. He's playing with guys who are sort of built like tanks and they're all shirtless, but it's him definitely with some ups cruising in for a layup. I think Yang Gang can play. Now, who's the better Andrew with takes? Let me read a couple tweets. These are from Andrew Yang, a presidential candidate. Last night's draft also pointed out how irrelevant the Knicks are. They'll be one of the worst teams in the league next year. At least they're still paying Joakim Noah $18 million. Thanks, Phil Jackson and Dolan. # rebuilding forever. Another one.
He's not Knicks woke yet.
I just looked at the Knicks box score. Holy cow, will this team be bad this year? Maybe one or two frontline NBA players and then a bunch of youngsters in reclamation projects.
Are you trying to get me
They
not
probably
to vote for the
they probably
Yang Gang?
won't win 30 games. I'm saying better takes than you.
Oh, that's not hard, but he's certainly not Knicks woke yet.
He said he gave up being a Knicks fan.
Oh yeah, fuck him. We don't need him.
I'm just
Go
saying
be
this
president.
guy
We don't need you.
watches basketball. He also recently said the best thing in life is taking jumpers as the sun sets. I'm Yang.
You're making
I'm
me
Yang Gang.
not want to
Yeah.
vote for him, man.
We're not talking about voting. We're talking about a 4-on-4.
I mean, voting for him for this one-on-one.
Okay, so who do you got?
I'm going Buttigieg. Indiana, baby.
I got Booker. He'd just steamroll everyone.
These are all
Just
valid
bounce
takes.
dudes out of court. So wait, he said holy cow? He's really going for that presidential spot, isn't he? Holy cow.
Holy crud.
Someone posted a picture of like a Bible Belt movie theater that was showing a Heck Boy.
Oh, what?
It was amazing.
That is, I would go and see Heck Boy.
Do you think they dubbed it out or they beeped? They have somebody beeping it. Should we talk about Lizzo?
I wasn't really paying attention to this, so can you break it down for our listeners who also weren't paying attention to this?
And also who may not know who she is. She's a fairly recent phenomenon.
Yeah,
She's in mainstream culture.
She's a singer, a pop star. She put out a new record this week to a lot of critical acclaim, but a lot of controversy because Pitchfork wrote kind of like a carefully worded but not an incredibly positive review. And her tweet was, in all capitals, people who quote-unquote review albums and don't make music themselves should be unemployed, which was a very hot take.
That's a hot one.
Yeah.
Super hot.
Especially when you're getting a lot of love from the media. But so people believe that was directed one direction, but it kind of reminds us of kind of basketball stuff, right?
Yeah.
If you can't slap glass, can't talk about me.
Well, Lizzo, I did not know who she was, and then I ended up getting a quote from her at a Fashion Week party a while back, and she was really funny, like super, super funny, and was talking about like this year I have a seat at the table and kind of talking about representation, but was just really amusing overall. Like I really enjoyed talking with her. So I wonder if this is her just sort of being flippant and off the cuff, because that's kind of, and it's also a kind of trite thing to say, right?
She backed off immediately. Like people went at her hard on Twitter, and she's like, "Yeah, totally. I'm wrong. I'm learning." Her publicist was probably like, "Yo, you can leave that up, but maybe like backtrack it." But that's the thing that went viral. And my first thought was like, she's allowed to feel that way and allowed to tweet that. And we want all these people to just like fall like into like these perfect boxes for us. Like an NBA player saying that is valid. I'm like, you must be super frustrated, dude. That's fine. I can handle that.
It's fine, but like it cuts both ways. So why are you're telling like someone who gives you love as helping your career, they should also be unemployed?
That was
the thing about that.
That's the first thing people pointed out, right? Like you got all these positive reviews. Are those valid?
Yeah.
Like, so it's a conversation that's annoying. Oh, right. So this kind of falls in line to the reaction of the Kanye West Sunday sermon thing that we alluded to, and it happened. And the thing that kind of went most viral was the merchandise. Some people talked about the performance. I think Chance went up and helped him out. Everyone was there, all the Kardashians, Travis Scott, obviously.
Travis Scott was in the background kicking grass,
Yeah.
clearly incredibly bored with the entire proceedings.
Yeah, but the thing that people wanted to talk about was a very simple merch selection that was ranging from, I believe, $165 for T-shirts to like $220 for tie-dye and $50 for, I think they were embroidered socks, but they might have been screen printed. I was totally cool with it, but it got a lot of ire from the Twitter community.
Hey man, did 60 people in that band, it's a lot of Uber money that you need to collect.
Pretty much. Probably found
All the way
spree
out to
over
the
here.
desert there.
I don't really understand the griping about Kanye's prices. Like, well, then don't buy the shit.
It makes zero sense, especially when you look online and like Saks Fifth Avenue is selling Grateful Dead shirts for $300. Like it's just a market thing.
It's like, well, okay, there's one place to potentially buy these this year.
Do you want it or not?
And do you want to pay $250 so you could rock it, a sweatshirt that no one else has for the next couple months, versus paying $100 for a sweatshirt that other people have? You want like an Acne one that has a little weird square face? Well, that's like $250.
And the arguments kind of fall really short because then people are like, okay, I'm willing to pay that amount of money, but not for a graphic that simple. And I'm like, well, what's the supreme graphic? And those sweatshirts go for around $200 sometimes. It's just, I don't know why people have to plant their flag like that. No, I get it. I'm not trying to kink shame them.
Well, I think with Kanye, though, it kind of goes back to some of the issues we discussed last week that Kanye's angling towards religion and the black church and as a way to redeem himself to his audience and sort of reconnect with people who may be deeply offended by the bullshit that he's said over the last 18 months.
And this was a disconnect.
Exactly. I mean, it is very much in line with, like...
It sounds like the church to me.
That's what I was going to say. It's very much in line with the church forever.
Well, people brought up Notre Dame right away and the $1 billion that they raised.
And I think Rembert and Micah did a Ringer write-up, like sort of a conversation that was pretty good about it. And someone definitely brought up, like, the Jay-Z line, like, what is it, preachers as pimps, too. And it was just like, yeah, this is not new, using the church to enrich yourself. Like, there's a storied tradition of that.
And it was a success. There was a line waiting. There was a queue waiting to buy these highly or reasonably priced items.
these affordable sweatshirts.
But it's sort of like, I feel...
It's just a bunch of people on Molly spending all their money anyway because of shit.
Oh my God, the best story with the festival is that guy. I don't have the specific details, but remember he
Go on.
Well, I don't have the...
This is gripping.
No.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'll give it a shot.
Welcome to Cookies.
You remember he buried the bottle of vodka in the ground?
Oh, yeah, that was a great move.
That was an amazing move. And I don't know which festival that was because there's so many, but the festival was going to be in this empty lot. He buried a bottle of vodka, bought tickets to the festival, went to the festival, and dug up the bottle of vodka.
Yeah, fully ingenious move.
Amazing. That's the best story.
I'm all for that.
But, like, yeah, same with the Lizzo.
Can they kick you out?
Of course they can, but it would be really confusing.
I didn't bring it in.
Oh,
It was here.
Yeah.
I found it.
Yeah. If he had his, like, legal mindset, he probably could get away with it.
I mean, probably not, but in my argument,
It's like no outside drink or food. And this is not outside.
I came through your security.
Can I not eat this grass that's growing on the ground?
Can I not use the toilet paper that I find?
What if they parked a food truck over his...
And he was just taking a chance, and I think on Instagram he was like, "It worked."
Cool. I remember seeing that. It was excellent.
Yeah.
But the Lizzo situation where an artist or an athlete says that you have to be able to do what I do to judge it is one of the oldest complaints there is. They've always said this, Method Man, you talk about it while I live it. Just that idea that you don't understand what I'm doing really, and if you could do it, you would be doing it, but you're doing something lesser, so therefore you don't really comprehend what it takes.
Be the host of one of the worst variety fucking shows ever to exist in order to criticize it.
Yes.
I did not know that thing existed until a couple of days ago. Dropped the mic. Oh my, holy cow. That is bad.
It's tough. I don't know why any celebrity publicist would let their client go on that show.
Agreed.
Yeah, Method Man. I can't unsee what I just saw Method Man do. Like, walking down the stairs, hanging out with Hailey Bieber or whatever. It was, it. Even the cobbler couldn't ruin Method Man for me.
Well, perhaps you should spend a day in Method Man's shoes.
Well, LeBron famously said, like, you just have to go back to your day job and I'm just going to be a baller in the finals. You criticize me.
But it all comes down to that these are different jobs.
Yes. But they have a point. I mean, this is not true, right?
Well, they are 100% entitled to that opinion.
Yes.
If you say, hey, like, you're not me, you don't know what it's like to be me, that's true.
Right, like...
But are you ready to have then a former athlete talk shit about you? And then it becomes valid? Reggie Miller said I choked in that game. That's cool. It's Reggie Miller.
But we catch ourselves in all these situations, right? Because I pull this on you guys all the time. Like, oh, I'm Asian, so you can't really tell me how to feel about, I don't know.
Your mustache.
Yes, exactly. And that's okay because we're not ready to talk about race, but we're ready to talk about
Mustaches
and music and sports.
Well, Westbrook, the bricklaying guard for the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are currently down 3-1 in their series against the Portland Trail Blazers, he's had a policy this year that sort of reflects that attitude. Yeah. He just says, next question, And he says it all the time.
He's stonewalling journalists right now.
He won't answer any sort of questions from the press that he doesn't feel like. And are we okay with that?
Well, Steve Kerr came out and said like this is a big issue because social media and 24-hour access to these ballers have made the NBA a great thing, and we've been selling tickets and players have been paid out more and more every year. So he's like, if we do this, we're going down a dangerous path. But I don't really know what he's talking about because like the Warriors do this shit all the time.
As someone who has interviewed a lot of basketball players, but not in the same circumstances necessarily, like the post-game media scrum, typically when I do it, it's the team makes the guy available and you'll talk to him before the game or even at a practice the day before or even a shoot-around earlier that morning. So you'll go to a facility, like there's one in Tribeca that has courts and a lot of NBA teams use it. And you'll go there and you'll wait for the practice to end, you'll roll in, and they'll give you time with whoever you want. You wander around and, Goran Dragic will be over here with like 3 people around him. And over there, Deion Waiters will have 2 reporters. And you kind of just, you use a little bit of restraint. You ask a question or two, you move on so the next guy can ask a couple questions. But what Westbrook is doing is kind of different from that because I don't think he's available in those situations. I don't think Westbrook is out there answering questions normally. And the NBA is really good about making its players available. It's kind of one of the easiest things about working in that field. If you're trying to find someone in entertainment or music, you can't necessarily get them on the phone. The NBA is really make it, they're conducive to getting their players into your stories and making your life easy as a writer. And the players are kind of turning the tables on that a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like, we don't want to get into the societal part of it, but there is kind of like, I can't figure out who's the cop, right? Like, it's just like...
It's Donovan Mitchell.
Officer.
I got to pull over and see the situation with this traffic accident.
Yeah, just going to canvass the area, see if there's any perps around, if he needs some help.
He's got his road flares out. Get him out the trunk of the car.
I was going to call this one in.
I have
his white gloves.
I have an ID scanner right here. But right, like, is Westbrook? I can't like this kind of lines up with the whole Sean Marks thing and him going things that are adjacent to the game itself, but kind of are fun to talk about. Like Sean Marks thought his Nets should have gotten certain calls versus the Sixers, and he went into the referee's locker room to complain. And I'm not sure who's the cop there. It's like the referees are by definition cops, but then he's going in being like, "You guys fucked up."
The old Citizens Complaint Review Board rolling in.
But like,
Sean Marks rolls in with a body cam on.
with Donovan Mitchell.
Well, but I think the problem with Westbrook's situation is that I think it's totally cool if athletes play the game and they respond and say, "I don't like that question, and here's why," or even going after reporters. It's all fair game.
Yeah.
But to me, it's the dismissal and the scorn is whack because part of your job and part of the reason you make a lot of money and you are successful and famous is because the media, that they help you. And it's based on what you can do on the court, of course, but it's also based on this entire machine which works together. And like the media doesn't really get rewarded for this for the most part. The guy who's a beat writer in OKC is not making much money. They might have a different job as well. They're not making real cash. So to just be like, next question, it's like, you're not really playing that fair, but I'm also sympathetic to players by default.
Yeah, so when you were like, this is part of the whole thing, I kind of disagree with that because salty players are part of the whole thing. Like Rasheed Wallace, we play to win the game. Practice, we're talking about practice. Famously, players we love have done this move. And it kind of depends on like how we feel about the guy. We don't really like Durant. We kind of are hedging away from Westbrook. When Klay Thompson throws out like something ridiculous, we're like, oh, he's so funny.
I don't really have a problem with Westbrook doing it necessarily. It's just more the idea of, well, you're just that dismissive of questions. Like,
I mean, it's rude.
It's just kind of shitty. It's like, oh, you don't want to answer that? Well, then get off the fucking podium, dude. Then get out of here.
Exactly. Why is he sitting up there?
Well, they get fined, right?
Then take that fine. If you're not willing to answer questions, eat the fine. Next question. Like, shut up.
But
No, it is. It's fucking annoying.
It's annoying, and I don't really see the reason for it.
We love it.
No one's asking him particularly intrusive questions. It's questions about the game. It's questions about like why he's so bad at shooting a basketball these days.
Exactly.
they
No one's
want to
like-
get him to crack for sure.
but no one's asking him.
Just put him on a timeout. Like,
No, I love it.
Like, fuck out of here, Westbrook. Like,
But it's
just
what-
don't give him any attention.
But
No
Jordan's
attention.
totally right. You're totally right. They're not asking him stuff about his life. They're not asking him personal questions about his family. They're literally asking him about a basketball game.
You guys are both wrong because he
Yeah.
can do whatever he wants to do, and as fans, we frame it however we want to frame it, and it makes this thing
He
better.
can, but he should be fined. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, maybe he is fine, but like to judge him or like Lizzo or even someone like Kanye West, like you're not doing this the way I want you to do it. I'm like, fuck out of here.
No, I'm not judging them for that. I think it's fine if they do that. I'm saying that Westbrook, in this environment of the NBA, in which you're setting up press gatherings, if he's not willing to play along with those stipulations,
But he's playing a different thing, right? Like we're getting a lot out of it of him just kind of like zagging or zigging, you know, like him just being
Are
like,
we?
we're talking. I mean, if he was just like, well, you know, you go in and you prepare, and sometimes the shots don't go in, and you trust your teammates, and then tomorrow we're gonna go back into the gym and work on the things we got wrong. Like that's
that's a good
boring.
point. That's a good point. A lot of the guys
We
who
don't want
go
that.
in there and just give the
quarterback
boilerplate
answer.
answers
Yeah.
is terrible and
Yeah, useless.
So I agree. I totally agree with that point.
I mean, the best thing is we don't have to worry about this for like another 8 months because they're not winning another game.
The Blazers look kind of good. Or is it Styles make fights? Is it just this matchup against a hurt Paul George?
It might be the Styles make fights, but I got to say one thing. So far through the first round of the playoffs, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Damian Lillard has been unbelievable to watch. Like just like
He's a good player.
ice cold.
He's good. And McCollum, annoying as he is, he's really good.
Why is he annoying?
I think it's
Kind of looks like a cop.
kind of looks like the little mustache. I love him because remember in college he was like tiny, like those
yeah,
pictures.
yeah,
He was a small guy, but they knew he was gonna grow because it's like parents were tall. I forget, but they drafted him knowing he would get big, and he got tall. But has that little mustache.
You're right about the mustache.
It's weird on short people, man. It's like you look like. I mean, I don't know how tall the Undertaker's manager was, but it kind of reminds me of like an Addams Family look.
Oh, Gomez.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I know it now. I know what you're talking about.
Well, I would agree with Jordan. Lillard, outside of the usual suspects of like the Harden and Giannis and the Spurs. What's his name? The Spurs guy who just became the best player.
Derek
in the NBA.
White.
Derek White,
Woo!
right? The
He's
legend,
fun.
Derek White. Lillard has been an incredible player to watch and really entertaining in a way that I'm generally not that entertained by Lillard, despite how good he is. I mean, he averages like 25 points. He's a great scoring guard. He shoots from distance as much as anyone except for Steph Curry. He is a phenomenal player. He's been really fun to watch because he's been so salty and he's really gotten into it with Westbrook and it's just abusing him though. Just like drilling these crucial shots that are just like, they're just heartbreakers. And he's been phenomenal. But the reason they're winning that series is because Westbrook has been comically bad. And Paul George has been relatively bad. He's been okay, but he's probably still hurt. The Thunder can be baited into bad shots so easily. And they do a lot of ISO play. So to your point about Styles make fights, I don't know that Portland's defense is that great, but they're clearly saying, Westbrook, you can take pull-up jumpers all you want. And he's missed them all. They're saying, Schroeder, take pull-up jumpers all you want. And he's like, gladly, and then bricks them. And Paul George just has been average and had a really terrible game in the one that they won.
And this series reminds me of a take-a-tude phenomenon when it's like when one of your takes comes true and it's like a bummer because like we kind of called this Westbrook thing 2 years ago. Like he's gonna depreciate really fast, really quickly, right before our eyes. Unfortunately, this might be the beginning of it. And when take-a-tude is awesome, when you're like Cantor sucks, oh, in this situation, he's a super valuable player. Just the volume of rebounding helps. And that's why I always said, like, I was grateful for the Knicks for benching him because his volume rebounding just wins 2 or 3 games.
Definitely not true.
Yo, he's playing well this series, though.
The Knicks were worse with him on the floor.
No,
Yes.
statistically, but he wins close games. So,
Oh, he's clutch gene.
no, the outcome is not always relevant to like the rating on the floor, as you know well. Look deeper, stat boy. But
Get your takes in order, Kuo.
but we're happy that Cantor's kind of fun instead of being right that he's terrible.
I'm not mad at seeing a happy Cantor.
Like
Sorry, I did not mean to do that. I did not mean that at all.
Oh, God damn it.
That was terrible.
but being right about Russ sucks. It doesn't feel good. I'm just like,
No, I'm
this is
rooting
it.
for him.
Yeah, we
because
want him to be awesome.
Also, his selection was a little bit better this series, but he just can't buy a bucket.
And like it doesn't align with his vibe anymore because he's got this bulldog, like he's always sunning his teammates, barking at Steven Adams, and I'm like, when you're this bad, the whole thing looks ugly, and like
it's really unappealing.
yeah, it's not
Here
cool
comes our
to
little
watch.
snarling alpha dog who comes down and bricks a bunch of shots until we lose.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming out.
It's like it's not fun, and you're waiting for this Paul George to show up that like they got through a miracle of chance that he chose them over LA, and it's not working out versus Damian Lillard.
But also with Westbrook, part of what made him so exciting and appealing was that you had very questionable shot selection. You had his attitude. You had his explosiveness, except that he was playing well with it. And that combination was the opposite. When he was pulling up and winning games with incredible threes during his MVP season and putting up these incredible stat lines, he was phenomenal. It was like, all right, give Westbrook the ball, he'd pound it in the ground and then hoist some bullshit up and it would go in, and you're just like, this guy's the best. And now the numbers are catching up with him, and you're like, oh, this guy stinks.
It's always a shame when a player gets to their point in their career where the other team is like, "We'll let you do whatever you want." Like that's always sad to see.
But I mean, what's that thing that we sometimes talk about? Recency bias. There was a point in the season where Westbrook seemed to acquiesce and, share the keys to the car with...
When Paul George was balling?
With Paul George. And, I mean, he knows exactly how injured Paul George is and what he's capable of. So I think maybe in this series we're seeing him like, all right, I've got to do this. Paul can't go. I've got to do this. And someone who is inefficient as him and someone who is not as cerebral of a player as we might like or need him to
No,
be.
he's a
in the
bull in the
current...
china shop. He's
Yeah.
like, I'll box you out.
Yeah. I think that's this series at this particular time with an injured Paul George is really bad optically for Westbrook. And I'm not a Westbrook apologist at all. I really don't like watching
Yeah,
him
this
play.
isn't a trend. This might just be like,
And to the credit of both those guys, they're basically shooting the same amount of shots.
yeah.
Like they're taking 18 and 18.8 per 36. Like the distribution is totally fine.
But the
But it's-
selection.
But
it's-
Paul George would be probably taking more than Westbrook or more efficiently if he wasn't so injured.
I agree. And the numbers
Okay.
are actually... No, we're on the same page. The numbers are pretty funny because we're like, fucking Westbrook, dude, shooting 36% and then 30% from three. It's like, unlike Paul George, who's shooting 37% and 30% from three. You're not going to win when your two good players are shooting 36%.
And Paul George is getting ripped too. Like, I mean, we see this, and maybe we're not giving Portland enough credit because when Nurkic went down, I kind of like knocked him down a notch.
I will never give Portland credit.
Why? You have a Portland hate?
Yeah, I don't like Portland.
Why? They were awesome. The Jailblazers? Are you
Like
kidding?
that team. Don't like the current version.
Wait, okay. If Jake Layman walked into a room, or Myers Leonard, or Zach Collins, could you tell them apart?
Only by their badges.
Only by their badge numbers.
Your team is the FBI.
Do you think they
Only by the letters on their hats.
Yeah, like DEA.
Oh, you're the ATF representative. Now I see, Zach Collins.
Wait, PDX DEA? What's going on here?
Do you think they assembled this kind of team because of the reputation of the Jailblazers?
Hell yes. And Indiana did the same thing.
I mean, but Paul Allen's like, I don't know. Did he care? Rest in peace.
I mean, when Indiana absolutely went the other direction after they had the incidents
in the
with
Palace.
Jamal Tinsley and you had Steven Jackson
Ron Artest.
and Ron Artest, they definitely were like, all right,
Jermaine O'Neal.
we're going to get some squares in here right away.
Yeah, and like they hit the jackpot with Lillard, I think right away, and they're like, oh, we'll build around this guy. Well, McCollum seems like a really nice guy. Nurkic was kind of a jerk, though. And they went out and got him. They traded a nice guy, Myers Leonard, who might be Zach Collins.
Plumlee.
Myers Plumlee.
Plumlee.
One of the Plumlees went for Nurkic.
A Plumlee to be named later.
Yeah. But, yeah, they're a bunch of nice guys now.
So the Nets have had the reputation for being nice guys, and now they're finally not the doormats, and now they're gaining a personality. Unfortunately, due to Sean Marks and one of their owners, it looks like they're going to embrace being bitches, like whining about things. So after their last loss in the fourth game of the series against the Sixers, Sean Marks went barging into the refs' locker room where the refs are all in their like jock straps, just hanging up their striped shirts.
Or according to Tim Donaghy, eating chicken wings and drinking Bud Light.
Marks goes in there, disrupting their feast, and starts complaining about the officiating in that game. On Twitter later, one of their minority owners, who's I think
minority in stake, not in life.
Both. He's an Asian man who's
treading-
part of the
tread
Alibaba.
lightly. Listen, when you're me, you
What's
can
his
talk
stash
about
look
that.
like? Does he have a wispy mustache too?
No,
He's a
no stash.
zillionaire.
Yeah,
And he's going to get majority control this summer, allegedly, I think.
So anyway, he was complaining about this whole thing, and then they were like, "All right, cool. Here's a $35,000 fee for you as well. Fine."
But he
What
was
is-
just falling in line. He did, I'm not even sure he knows about basketball.
Wow, that's racist.
Is it? Can you, when you're Chinese, maybe you can talk about this.
Sounds like something that people would say about Yao Ming. He doesn't even like basketball.
No, but by his quote, he was just like, it's a standard corporate response. Like, we respect our employee and we want things to be fair. Like, that's just a corporate, like, he didn't even write that, right?
I gotta say, I watched that game, and what calls were they even complaining about that were that egregious?
That's my thing.
I was like, I mean, it's not like,
Arguing calls is not going to work.
But
it wasn't like a sustained.
That Jared Allen possession was optically really weird, though.
The one where he got smothered and not fouled and lost the ball.
I'm glad they didn't call the foul, but that could have been called, and I would have been fine with it.
But the thing is,
They were all standing straight up. He was flailing around.
Simmons is fucking lording over him hilariously.
like, this is not crouch bias or dribble bias or height bias. This is perhaps Sixers bias. But I did not think that game was officiated even to anyone's benefit down the stretch or even throughout, because Embiid got mostly ball when he blocked Jared Allen early in the game. Maybe clean, maybe with the body, whatever. It's a regular call.
I thought that looked regular.
But Jarrett fell, and then he gets pushed by Dudley, who's been trying to start with people like the entire thing. And then Jimmy Butler ends up getting ejected. I'm like, that's a huge win for the Nets. Your scrub, who's clearly trying to start beef.
And D'Angelo Russell escalates the whole thing. He runs from the corner.
But you watch that whole thing with Dudley. He pushes the Sixers' best player. Then he gets into it with Butler. Then he grabs Simmons and falls, trying to drag Simmons on top of him. You see Simmons with his arms like akimbo as Dudley's literally trying to drag him onto the seats. He was just trying to get a Sixer guy ejected, and
sure.
it worked.
Yeah, it
like,
worked.
Sean Marks, shut the fuck up. You got a huge break that the Nets let your bullshit little scruffy dude go out there and get Jimmy Butler, an all-star caliber player, removed from the game. That's great if you're the Nets.
But there has been evidence where complaining helps your cause the next time.
Oh, I get
right?
that. But like the full like barge in,
I mean, maybe he was trying to lead by example.
I think it's more
Pulling a Dudley.
Maybe he's just pulling out that Brooklyn mentality.
New Zealand
all the way
mentality.
from New Zealand.
No, that's what I mean. Jeez.
I'm going to go out and back to barista outside. But
He's like, what kind of call was that, eh, bro?
also the
That's
Nets,
some bullshit, eh?
also the Nets shot 10 more free throws than the Sixers. And to your point, you can want a call on that last one, but I'm sorry, when your second-year player has the rebound, isn't really trying to go up, and is swarmed by 3 dudes at the end of a game, you can't call a foul.
Yeah.
You just can't. Unless it's like you see him get basically punched in the jaw, you can't call a foul when a guy is triple teamed and the game is on the line.
But to mirror my Westbrook take, like, yeah, it's annoying that he did that at first, but it's kind of funny. This is WWF, right? Like, we kind of love that he barged into the referee room. Like, that doesn't suck. Like, I'm cool reading that story. Like, I got no problems with it.
I'm not mad at him for doing it either. It's more that Jordan's point, he's sending a message. He's trying to get it out there. Like, I'll defend my guys because we're building a culture here.
Yeah.
We want people. We want free agents to come here.
Yeah,
And like,
exactly.
think of how good that is. Like, okay,
It's a good look for him.
We're going to lose this series. I've got one more chance to make news.
Yes,
That, so
exactly.
Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, whoever is a free agent that you're trying to go after is like, I'm meeting with Sean Marks. That's the guy who got fined for like going into the refs
And he used
locker
to be a
room,
player.
looking at ref dongs
Yeah.
just to like defend the team.
Ref dongs.
Ref dongs, yeah.
Ref dongs, yeah. He went in risking exposure to ref dongs. That's why he did it, for free agency.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he was kind of like trying to represent the franchise, and
But he's the one who's going to be meeting with free agents.
Yes.
So having the GM in the news for defending your players, then ownership being like the guy who's
he's smart and acts like a nerd, but he was a jock. He played in the NBA.
so bad for the brand publicly, but they're playing chess over there.
I love it.
Even the owner's like, all right,
Another win for Sean Marks.
let me just eat this $35,000 fine, so you know that ownership, who you're going to meet with, just got a press release from the NBA saying he got fined and Marks got fined. So before the season's over, the 2 guys you're going to be meeting with when you're a free agent, you know they've both put down a good $60,000 to defend Jared Allen from a reach-in foul.
I love this because before we get too close to like tennis, like where there's like sensors everywhere, and what if we replace one referee with like 15 cameras that could catch things like quicker in real time, being like, he actually touched him on the arm. Like, we have proof of that through tracking or whatever. Like, it kind of zapped a little bit of joy out of tennis because you don't get the McEnroe arguments or Jimmy Connors. Like, you don't get like the personalities anymore. And I love Sean Marks barging into that. That's theater, right?
I'm saying it's good entertainment, brilliant strategy going into free agency, but it also does make the Nets look like a whiny franchise.
Yes. So does it hurt them in free agency? So if you're Kevin Durant, no, that's a bad example because he's the police, he's the precinct. What do you call it?
I don't want to go there. They
Chief.
complain too much. Yeah. Don't want to be a bunch of gripers.
But what if you're like fun, a cool free agent, and I can't think of one. Klay Thompson, funny guy. The Warriors are all cops. I'm having a tough time thinking of a free agent. But what if it backfires on Sean Marks?
I don't think it will. I think it's a good move. I just think from a branding of the team for the fans, it's more like the Nets, the guys who like just complain a lot and are kind of soft. Not great from a branding opportunity.
Jared Allen is a soft big man. I really, really like him, but like softer than I thought. Going into the season, I was really looking forward to him. I thought he was going to be Mitchell Robinson-esque.
We might not talk about the Nets again if they lose one of the next 2 games. We'll be talking about future series. Any takeaways from the Nets this season? I mean, they've had a successful run. They made the playoffs. Is Russell the guy?
I would pay him. I don't know their payroll off the top of my head, but Dinwiddie wasn't that expensive.
Dinwiddie's only making like 10 to 12 a year.
He's a value. I would max out D'Angelo Russell, just because there's no guarantees that there's only a handful of free agents, and we kind of know where they're going. If something happens, yeah, sure, pay one of these guys, but you're gonna Jared Allen's cheap enough right now, but you're gonna have to end up paying him. So I would just go in with this core. I don't know how far this core gets them, But
Yeah, that's sort of the debate that's been going on between sort of Sixers and Nets Twitter, is that people have taken this opportunity to obviously disparage the process and pretend that the the Nets have had a more virtuous, ethical rebuild. I'm like, no, it's the fucking same.
they haven't found the superstar.
They just had traded their picks away.
Yeah.
It's literally the same. They
Yeah.
did everything identically, but instead of having the number 1 pick, the number 3 pick, and the number 10 pick, those went to Boston.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's been the same.
I mean, the Nets did very well in drafts. Like Jared Allen, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, Karis LeVert is awesome, but that's not even close to what the Sixers got in Embiid and Simmons. I mean, we say this so much, but like Hinkie wanted as many superstars as he can get. I think if you asked him now, he'd be like, "Yeah, we did it. We got 2. I only wanted 1."
Also, the Nets were just as bad enough to get those guys.
Yeah.
They had only traded their picks away. Like, they had the worst record in the league. That became the number 1 pick in the draft. They ended up getting like Kuruks or someone, whatever it was. They
Halfway.
They didn't have those picks.
It's true.
I do really like LeVert. I think LeVert is
sick.
really, really good, and I think he's better than Russell.
If it wasn't for the god Mitchell Robinson, he'd be the best player in New York. He'd be. I mean, we've said this before. He'd be a star in the Garden. Art collector too.
Oh yeah.
Featured in the New York Times style section.
What kind of stuff does he like?
I don't know what his collection looks like, but I'm guessing there's like some Basquiatage happening.
Yeah.
Maybe some cause action happening. I'm guessing some Revoke, but maybe he has other stuff. I don't know.
Maybe he has a couple of Kuos in his bathroom.
I wish. I wish. But talking about blowing a whole a career,
Okay, yes, go on.
the Suns had as many picks as the teams we talked about, the Sixers, the Nets.
So are the Lakers.
So the Lakers, but there has been Suns news.
Oh, they fired the coach who they apparently had hired previous year. Koko.
We call him Koko.
Call him Koko for the time being.
Team Koko.
Was it like 5 coaches in 3 years?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, Koko, they had won some meaningless games late. Maybe he didn't really get along with Booker. The Suns are just a mess, though. What do we expect from them?
There's some good talent on that team. Like, there's more talent on. Wait, did you say the Nets or the Suns?
I meant the Suns if I said the Nets.
There's more talent in Phoenix than there is in New Jersey, Brooklyn. But what effect does ownership have on a franchise? Like, people are coming out and blaming the owner. And
Sarver's infamously bad.
yes,
He's a meddler. He's impatient.
but like, do we care about Koko? Like,
No, I don't
is he
care at
a
all.
difference maker? Like, people are getting on him for this firing, but I'm like, it doesn't matter. He might just be like, I thought you nerds told me coaches like of this tier don't matter. I could just replace him out.
I mean, it kind of goes back to what we've been talking about with the Nets and with the Knicks or in the Lakers and the Clippers. When an organization makes repeated bad decisions, there needs to be some huge changeover from a position of power, whether it's the owner or the owner getting out of the way and letting someone smart run things. Otherwise, it's just going to be the same repetition of like, oh, why'd they make that trade? Why'd they hire this GM? Why'd they hire this coach? There's always going to be this sort of slow crumbling that leads to being bad versus a good team like who has smart ownership and a smart GM and a smart coach where eventually things start piling up and you become good.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because, you know, when Prokhorov was the primary owner of the Nets, I guess people thought he made his money selling arms, and that's literally what he did with the Nets. Be like, oh, I'm going to acquire tanks and bazookas, 3 champions from Boston, and I don't care about this other stuff. I want the biggest gun. And then the Alibaba guys kind of come into the picture, and all of a sudden, like, they're like, oh, Sean Marks is our guy. Like, he looks like he understands this as a corporation, as opposed to like a war, a battle.
And you sort of see the difference between kind of disruptive tech guys and the old school business dudes. So that's a totally different approach than, say, Dolan. And maybe that's what we're seeing with Joe Tsai with the Nets, that he's a tech guy. Or Mark Cuban, tech guy. Or even in Sacramento, where your boy...
Paul Allen.
Well, Sacramento.
Renedive.
Renedive came in there with a bunch of weird ideas and wanted to recreate Golden State. It didn't work, and they made all these mistakes, and they're still doing things wrong, but they're at least progressive at this point, maybe.
Despite him.
Right,
I like him as a personality.
Right, but we know what the ceiling is for that team. That team will never become an NBA championship because they don't have the right guys in place. It's not Vlade. It's not, they've just fired their coach. You can make good decisions, and you can get De'Aaron Fox, and you can make moves and create a system that works, but eventually you run out of talent.
I agree. And there's always anomalies because no one's pretending Dan Gilbert is of sound basketball mind. The dude seems very emotional. People get rich off of their emotions and getting lucky, and he got lucky with LeBron James twice.
That's it. He's not good at running a team.
No.
The Cavs don't make good, smart decisions.
And they're going to get Zion Williamson, and he will have a success. Well, they have as much of a chance as the top three teams to get Zion. And if he goes to Cleveland, no one will be shocked because it's a level field, right? 14%. And he will have had a successful decade of owning the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, that sucks.
It sucks, and I just don't enjoy the draft or the lottery, even though it's the most interesting thing, in my opinion, of the NBA season. I love player evaluation. I'm already looking at because
are you talking about maybe a board of some sort that maybe you could make it an eponymous branded board, like the Andrew Big Board, we'll call it.
What is the Russian league called? Isn't it the KBB? I don't know. So what's happening in Phoenix? What do they do? Because they might get Zion Williamson.
Yeah, I have no idea. I just can't care what Phoenix does because they don't have there's no one running the show. You've got Sarver, you've got James Jones.
But they relieved him of duty.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't even know who's running the show. I can't even speculate to what they'll do. I don't know what their plan is. If you say, okay, cool, Sam Hinkie, you come in, I'm like, oh, they'll do something interesting. But they won't do that.
And that's why even though a team like New Jersey Nets got Vince Carter, got a few names in their Jason Kidd in their time in New Jersey, I feel like they moved to Brooklyn to kind of raise their profile of their brand and to maybe attract free agents. And we always talk about this, how smart do you have to be if you're in a small market that doesn't attract the big names like Phoenix? Do you have to be extra smart because you're not in play for Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant,
sure,
Klay Thompson? Definitely, right? But when you're not smart and you're not a destination, you're screwed. And the Phoenix Suns look screwed. I don't see a way out of this. None of those players look. I don't know if they're max players.
There's no way.
I mean, Ayton's going to get a max eventually.
There's no way out of this, unless they get Zion,
or Charles Barkley.
But they are currently at least doing the best possible thing, which is sucking horribly until maybe you end up getting a transformational talent. That's it. But that's it.
But they were the smartest team for a long time. They had D'Antoni and Steve Nash. D'Antoni won Coach of the Year in Phoenix.
With your boy, Brian Colangelo.
I've heard of him.
Well, moving on to teams that are run by smart GMs. We've got a series coming up here with Boston, who is Mike Zarin, Danny Ainge, a rebuilding team that has found themselves here in the playoffs, and they're going against Milwaukee Bucks, who may not be smart, but were smart enough to have Giannis on their team, and to hire Coach Bud, who then brought in smart guys like Brook Lopez. So, with that awkward presentation,
I'm going to say they were smart for jettisoning their length players. That length experiment that I was first intrigued by
John
in Milwaukee. Henson, I mean, they didn't Thonmaker, Larry Sanders, RIP, but
the whole Jason Kidd, weird Swiss Army knife, long-armed dudes that were actually bad on defense. They
knocked this water out of my hand.
Yeah, it was such a cool idea and it didn't work. So they moved on from that, which is the smartest thing they could have done.
So this series is the the East is looking really fun in the second round potentially because there's 4 good teams. So the first round was just kind of dog games across the board.
Yeah.
But, all right, here we are. Like, okay, the 4 good teams are now have to play each other, and the first one that we know for sure that's locked in is Boston playing Milwaukee. They also played last season in a series that went 7 games and was like highly entertaining. They've played 3 times this year. I believe Milwaukee has the edge, 2-1. And 2 of those games have come down to the final seconds, or at least been incredibly tight down the stretch. Jordan will probably want to make predictions. So let's start with that.
Celtics in 7.
Solid. What will happen? What will transpire? What are you seeing?
Gordon Hayward go off.
Like the king he is, the king of Massachusetts.
The king of
The
Massachusetts.
face of the franchise.
Face of, I love that. Like Kyrie's handballing the team on his way out.
So good.
You know, but Gordon, who has played, who's played 40 games here and is white, is now the face of the Celtics because I'm not.
He's like Gordon Hayward, king of the city.
I mean, to be honest, I think that was a little bit of shade at Brad Stevens as well. It's like, he's your boy.
He's got an albatross contract. He's not going anywhere. Unless, of course, you attach
The sweetener.
the commensurate sweeteners of everything they have.
Mm-hmm.
What interests you about this series as a non-predictor? What do you want to see, Kuo?
I want to see a perceived weakness in Giannis that we think is there, but no one has really tested, which is he can't shoot. And I don't think that will be a problem. But everyone's waiting to see him in a high-pressure situation with this supporting cast. I think the Bucks will be okay. I think it'll be kind of a coin flip series. Al Horford's an interesting player to me, especially if he's assigned to a Giannis. Their zone defense and their switching is going to be interesting. The Bucks have so many weapons. I don't think we're talking about them enough in the tiers of like Houston and Golden State. I think that is a wonderfully built team that's firing on all cylinders right now. Of course, Giannis is like shooting how he shot, I believe, in the regular season. But I don't really care if he can't shoot. But they had such an easy time with Detroit, who kind of didn't have a shot.
Was it too easy?
I don't believe in that. Like there's something happened in hockey where like the clearly the best team, I think the Lightning, had like a month off. They were just waiting for the playoffs and they lost. And they were just like, we got soft. Like the competitive nature of this game like is the thing that fuels you in high pressure situations, and we didn't have that. But I don't think Milwaukee will suffer from that feeling.
I don't really believe in the idea of teams coming out flat.
I don't either.
Sometimes you miss shots.
It's
we didn't have the right effort there. Like, you didn't try? Of course you were trying. You just played poorly. And you're like, we could do better than that. So you assume that we can try harder.
Yes.
And therefore, if we try harder, we will make more shots.
Yeah, and trying hard isn't like skating faster or dribbling faster. It's like kind of what we were talking about, Jordan, like a couple weeks ago. It's like when I mean a shot doesn't go in or goes in, that coin flip, the intent is what matters to me. And the Bucks are a smart team that take good shots. Sometimes they just don't go in.
But it's weird because it does sometimes feel like you're not playing hard enough in those situations where you're missing shots. You start feeling down. You don't feel like you're being aggressive. You're not, if you're in a game and your team is just like taking command of it, you feel like a wolf. You're out there just like snarling. You're everywhere. Oh! When your team is playing bad, you're kind of on your heels. You're trying hard.
Fanging it.
You're fanging it when you're up there. And it's true. So I get why players are like, the effort wasn't there. It's like, it's kind of true because you didn't feel like you were out there ripping your opponent to shreds.
But the fun way of interpreting like the effort wasn't there is like, the skill wasn't there.
Oh, sure. I'm saying it makes total sense that athletes feel as if the effort wasn't there when their shots weren't going in.
Yeah.
I'm sure you feel that way, even though they're actually trying.
Right.
But you don't have the feeling of controlling the game, which is a real emotion. When you're destroying an opponent, it feels great.
Yes.
When you're losing, it sucks. And they're like, yeah, that sucks. We need to try harder.
And yeah, that's where the voodoo comes in, being like, oh, our locker room's fractured. There's no leadership. And you just apply all these things that click in. It's hard to disprove those things don't happen when you lose, but it's the knee-jerk thing. And I feel like, especially in this vacuum of the playoffs, like Jordan always says, we're a prisoner of the moment. Not only what happened, what we just saw, recency bias and all that junk, but also just how do we talk about matchups in a best of 7? It's like, I always use that boxing cliche, but like really all we saw was Milwaukee versus Detroit without Blake Griffin.
I'm going to go down the Redaelli path here. Always a dangerous proposition. And I just feel like the Bucks are going to stomp them.
That's fair.
I'm not saying I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying just predictively.
No one would be shocked.
I don't see how the Celtics can necessarily stop the Bucks from doing what the Bucks have done well all year. And I know that they've had a lot of close games, and they've had close games last season. I just think if Smart's not out there, it's a weapon that is really important to the Bucks. And I know Brogdon might not be totally healthy. I don't know exactly how it'll shake out with those guys being there or not. But I just think Smart is so important
as a perimeter defender
to what Boston does
and a release
defensively.
valve as someone who shoots.
He shot well this year. I think
he tailed off.
He did, but I think he's
a great player.
I think he's their third best player, and by like a wide margin. I don't think Tatum is good at all, and I think
So Horford's second?
I think Kyrie, Horford, and Smart are their good players.
Baines?
I don't think
What about Baines?
they've got some role player dudes who are decent,
Baines.
but to me, Jaylen Brown is whatever, Tatum is whatever. They're not bad, but Smart is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at advanced metrics, he crushes it.
Metrics boy over here.
That is going to be one of the more enjoyable parts of this series, is watching Giannis bang against some other big boys.
Well, look,
Baines
that's
is going to be fun.
but also Baines can't guard him. You can't put him on him.
But
You
that's
can't-
going to be
But that's the thing.
hilarious.
It's like watching Giannis like destroy a 6'8" dude is one thing, but when he's there just obliterating,
There's a
like,
Morris on the
actual
court,
big
I think.
guys, it's really fucking
Baines
fun.
is infamous for getting dunked on by Giannis. So you are correct. Like I would say, maybe among Giannis's like top 10 most humiliating booms, like 3 of them are on him.
Did you guys see that play yesterday where Giannis goes to yam on Drummond and Drummond fouls him
dude.
off and then he just like shoots it in and Drummond starts laughing? I'm just like, this guy's amazing.
I know, but everyone was saying Drummond was laughing because it was such an amazing play by Giannis.
He was like,
no,
"Get
he was
fuck outta
laughing.
here," it's
He
a
was
joke.
laughing because
He was laughing because he was trying to pretend that he didn't foul him.
No,
And it didn't work.
because he didn't really foul him. He was just kind of went up straight, and he was laughing that they called the foul on him.
That's
He wasn't
3
like,
different laughing takes for Drummond. That's a lot of takes for a laugh.
no. You watch the play. It's Drummond always does the stupid laugh when he gets called for a foul. He doesn't think like the smile, like he always does that shit.
Fucking cartoon guy. over here.
Huckleberry Hound ass laugh.
But yeah, I mean, Vegas has the Bucks easily, in this series. No one would be shocked. And like not making predictions is boring too. I think the Bucks will win. But Kyrie Irving is good, and like I just want to see Giannis in higher and higher pressure situations. Because
You were making so many noises today, Jordan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my personal brand, making noises. Didn't you know that?
fair enough. I did know that. Yeah, I think the Bucks are really, really good, and I can't figure out how they lose. Sorry, that chair is so
Hey,
squeaky.
you this is your fucking chair, dude. Like, get your chair game up.
But it was what we talked about last week. The Bucks, they just have this simple system
keep it simple, right?
where it's like
run through Giannis.
we're just gonna take the best player on the court and attack you with them, and then you figure out what you're gonna do about that. And
Release
most teams
valves
can't.
everywhere.
And you're like, okay, we've got a Morris. A Morris was built.
I can't tell which one.
They brought in A Morris to defend against LeBron, but Giannis is bigger, and Giannis is more of a post player.
Yeah.
And Morris is good at defending against guys who can shoot, and Giannis doesn't do that.
Dude, Brook Lopez is a problem. The Lopez that's on the court is a problem.
They have
I
a,
can't
they have a
tell.
Lopez and they have a Morris.
It's a lot of
I have a quick one more observation with regards to Giannis. Giannis. It's terrible that I don't know how to actually say his name. Shaquille O'Neal last night said on air that Giannis is better than he ever was.
Shaquille's been crushing it on these.
That's fucking crazy for like the infamously arrogant Shaquille O'Neal to suggest that anybody, especially someone playing his position and his kind of style of basketball, to be better than him was wild. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Whether he meant it genuinely or he also used it to set up the fact that if he was better than Shaq, then he was much better than Charles. But that's pretty wild.
But what did he mean? I'm just curious because I didn't see that clip. Was he saying that Giannis is? Would he say that LeBron was better than me, or was it in the context of like a post player or a big man? I'm just trying to figure out.
In the context of being a big man. And he said better, but maybe he meant more range of skills or something.
More
but
evolved.
Just saying better was crazy to me.
I mean, he's been funny this postseason. And, like, I don't think TV's for him. I think it's, like, it's exhausting. So you can kind of see him kind of just, like, acquiesce to his guys. But they were teasing him for getting swept in the playoffs a lot. And he's like, yeah, I got swept a lot, man.
5 times.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to get swept, but I got swept. He's like, I won a lot, too. But, like, what do you want from me, man? I've played some good teams. It's kind of sweet, you know? But I like a little, like, I don't know. I miss the days where we got mad at Barkley, actually. But between Barkley and Stephen A, like, we're all past that. This is just, like, fun stuff.
Yeah, I think the Bucks are. It's the same way when I look at Houston. I'm like, I see what you're doing. Maybe you'll lose to Golden State because they've got more talent, but I see what you're doing. You have a singular player and you've got a system, and you're just going to ride it into the ground. And the Bucks are doing the same thing, and they don't play in the same conference as Golden State.
I think Brook Lopez as the release valve for that offense is just so annoying for a team to play. That dude functions so well. He clicks into that offense. It's like unfair.
But it also has the effect of him always being back on defense.
Yeah.
Which is huge because they don't put him in the corner ever. He's always
at the top
above
of the key.
The break or at the top of the key. So you've got a 7-foot dude who's always running back even when Giannis is in the paint. Like, it's a really well thought out system. You're like, you can just imagine someone be like, all right, so what are we going to do here?
It's like, these players are available for this idea?
What if we get a 7-foot guy who we'll just put him at the top who can really shoot? That way Giannis can be by himself in the lane and John Henson can park his ass on the bench.
You got a speedy defender and Eric Bledsoe.
We'll have a couple guys who can sort of dribble and defend, and then we'll just
Unitasker and Middleton.
And then we'll just be better than everybody.
Multitasker.
And we'll just destroy people. Should we do that this year? Like, shout to Coach Bud.
He could have been a Nick.
Thank Christ he wasn't.
I know, me too.
Well,
I agree.
The last night's game, your favorite friendly officer, Donovan Mitchell, broke out of his little playoff slump. He had been wretched.
But didn't he shoot like 26 times for 31 points?
I think that was the night before, but he might have done it again last night.
I think it was the same line, kind of like he was not efficient last night. He just had late game buckets. But I think he had a terrible first half. At one point, he was like 2 for 10.
Oh, was he? I was vaguely paying attention to the score,
Yeah.
but then I realized that the game was going to end around 1:30 or something, so I just bailed on it.
Yeah, it wasn't that fun. It was we didn't find anything out about that. Donovan Mitchell is good enough to get hot, like his ceiling Jamal Crawford.
He's shooting 35% from the floor this postseason.
I mean, I don't know what it is because he's getting open looks. They're just not going in. The form is fine. I don't necessarily believe in like biometrics and like form, but he looks fine. The shots just aren't going in. And they haven't been going in for like spells this season.
He's whatever. He's a guy. He can score. He's Jamal Crawford. He's Deion Waiters. He's a scoring guard who's creative off the dribble and can pass.
He's bouncy. People love the bounce. It's dribble bias.
He's a dribble bias candidate for sure.
Yeah.
But he's also young enough that maybe he gets better.
Yeah. And Ingles kind of has been having a tough time off and on.
Jordan?
Yeah, he has. I agree.
Not shooting.
Do you want to speculate on why an Aussie would go cold?
No.
A lot of Aussies and Kiwis in this. New Zealand's Kiwi, right?
Yeah.
A lot of representation in this playoffs.
I mean, there's a lot in the NBA in general.
True.
A lot of there's been a lot of recent Australian championship winners. You're talking Andrew
Oh, right.
Bogut. You're talking
Paddy Mills.
Paddy Mills, Matthew Dellavedova.
Kylo Quinn.
I couldn't swing a fucking dead cat at the finals without hitting an Australian.
I gotta say, I thought we were in for a real Aussie wave, and didn't really happen because we've had some major disappointments. Because Thonmaker was considered Aussie. I don't know if he was born there, but he was an Aussie product who
Go on.
flamed out. And then you also had Kuo's guy there from Utah,
Jingles. Ben Simmons. Who are you talking about?
Dante Exum.
Oh, I really like Exum, but he can't stay healthy, man.
Right. So you had three, and then you had Ben Simmons, who's obviously a legend. But you had three guys who were
Exum.
among the biggest prospects on the planet, and only one of them turned out to be a baller.
I mean,
1 out of 3 ain't that bad.
I know, but we don't have like an army of Aussie superstars.
You've
right
got another Aussie about to win another championship with Andrew Bogut. They're all over the place. I don't know what you're asking a lot from a country with 20 million people.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm sorry. I thought we were going to have a real Aussie explosion. We're still hanging our hats on the Pizza Gator.
Well, the other thing is like basketball is now huge in Australia. And it's even more popular than it was when I was a young
lad.
prospect. And so basketball is taking a lot of like the primo athletes away from Australian rules football, which has a similar skill set, surprisingly. So I think it's only going to increase the Australian invasion and continued excellence.
It will reverse the ebbing flow of Australian talent that we've experienced.
Ben
paltry.
Simmons alone, and his success, and pulling a Jenner and all that kind of thing, that's going to inspire lots of kids to play basketball. I'm not kidding. Like, why wouldn't you? You're on the other side of the planet.
The cultural thing is interesting to me because like China hasn't been really able to manufacture a wave after Yao Ming, even though the NBA really planted its flag in China. And
Why was that?
I don't know. Like, it's hard. I don't know. Yi Jianlan. There was another Wang Zhizhu from the Clippers, who was pretty good. And Shu Qi, who Maury drafted maybe 2 years ago. None of them really panned out, and he released them. I don't know why. I don't know if it's cultural or if the leagues in China aren't suited to develop NBA-type players.
I mean, I think so much of it comes down to, like, I remember being in a city like Barcelona, and 3 a.m., there's kids out there playing pickup soccer. And you have to have that kind of enthusiasm for a sport. And we can have good athletes in America play soccer. You can have them play in school, pee-wee leagues, all that kind of stuff. But unless kids are out there playing soccer all day long, you're just not going to have a pool of people that are elevated enough to actually get a ton of superstars and have like a culture of it. It's just tough to do it in the way of like, we're crazy about basketball in China, but like, are they? Are kids playing basketball around the clock in China? Because if they are, eventually they'll be good at it. If it's something that like, hey, we have travel teams, we play it in high school, and the NBA is marketing to us, that's a totally different thing than every kid walking down the street bouncing a basketball, or every kid in Barcelona walking around, or Portugal walking around and playing soccer as much as they possibly can.
And it might take longer than we think. It might take a few generations. I believe the NBA is doing like an outreach program in Africa coming up, like a big one, because Siakam was such a star that they kind of uncovered. I don't think he played that much basketball, and then he started playing, and he's a great player. It might take, this whole thing might take, the globalization of the game might take longer than we think. That's my only guess.
Well, the other thing is that it only takes a couple of guys from a country to make us think of that country as a basketball basketball hotbed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
The Olympic Spanish team was good.
there was a ton of good Spanish players. But again, when you're there, you don't see a lot of kids playing basketball.
I mean, the funniest place is they play games in London, and there hasn't been a good British basketball player in the history of the sport.
Luol Deng,
John Amici.
sealing a British ceiling of
Yeah. But
Tatum.
it's so funny that Luol Deng, British, Giannis is Greek. Ton Makir, I didn't know he was considered Australian. Like, these are all, like, through, like, interesting, like, immigration stuff and, like, but they all have African roots, right? So, like,
That's a Thon Maker.
yeah, someone told me it's Ton Makir, so I say Ton Makir, but I should just say Thon Maker because it's that gyro Euro thing.
But he was born in Sudan.
Yes. I feel bad saying Ton Makir because I don't want to go up to like a gyro stand and be like, I'll take a Euro. Like, I know it's Euro, but I just sound a little presumptuous saying it the right way. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I don't say when
That's
I'm...
why you don't want to, like, pronounce wine with a French accent because you just sound like an asshole.
Yeah, like I say, one time I went to France years ago, I said merci. And there's like, you don't say it that, you roll it. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I don't want to do that.
But isn't this like the problem with Americans, right?
Yes.
Is that we're so unfamiliar with learning foreign tongues that we're humiliated to even make their words sound like them, that we're intentionally Americanizing words from other languages just so we don't sound like we're from that country.
So why do announcers still, I guess to your point, announcers are still saying Thon Maker. And I'm like, I think he said it's Ton Makir.
Like when you go to a taco truck, do you give them like a little Spanish inflection? Do you try to make it sound as if you're ordering like a taco in Spanish?
I mean, I'm not sure how I would do that. How you're the guy with the accents and stuff. Give us an order. What's your order at your local taco truck?
Well, no, my Spanish is not good at all. It's like very taxi cab Spanish. But I mean, would you say like una taco de pollo, por favor? Would you like try to like make it Spanish or be like chicken taco, dude?
Yeah. What do you do?
I'm saying I would sort of, because I like trying to practice Spanish,
Yeah.
even though it's shitty. I don't mind being like dos tacos de, y una semita, whatever.
Yeah.
Like kind of like vaguely Spanish.
And the dude in the truck's like, bro, just tell me what you fucking want.
No,
Well,
of course,
you
of
get
course.
a weird reaction because, like, right. So I want to practice my Mandarin sometimes in Chinatown, and I'll get like a sentence out that I know works, and they'll start talking to me and be like, "That's all I knew," and they'll be like, "Fuck you" a little bit, like they're not mean about it, but they're just like
A little bit.
but just kind of just like and it's like a New York thing or an American thing. Maybe.
But I get that too. If you're in Mexico and you use a phrase that you really like using, so you've kind of mastered it, and then they speak to you in Spanish, and you're just like shrug, like, sorry, I kind of just tricked you into thinking I spoke Spanish because I knew how to order like una agua, por favor. I'm like, oh, you know Spanish? Like, I don't actually.
It's funny when people try and talk to me in Australian. Throw a mate at the end of everything. They don't realize I fucking hate Australians. So it's like you've immediately made yourself the most irritating person in the world if you're using Australian jargon with me.
We've tried to slip some phrases in, thinking that it might mean something.
Do you
in
automatically
Australian.
think that they're a fuckwit?
Oh, absolutely. I'm like, why are you calling me mate? I've
Yeah,
lived
they're
here
like, this is just-
I've lived here for 15 fucking years, dude.
So it's pure codswallop,
totally codswallop.
as I suspected.
Bunch of horse shit, mate.
It's like a kick to the old twig and berries.
Yes.
Well, I think that wraps up the
Playoff edition cookies.
first of the week. Well, yeah. So there'll be more results that will trickle in over the next few days, and we'll talk about them as they occur.
We didn't get to talk about pig brains.
I love cookies.
Next time.
Next
Cookies.
time, this was perfect. We don't even need the pig brains. Next week may not be perfect without the pig brains, so we'll save it for next week.
Can't wait.
Big brains.
Cookies.
Pig brains. Cookies.